Private matches are back. Strongholds are giving you respawn tokens in the game. Plunder is even coming. They're making 25% faster speed to healing. Plus, you can sprint. Plus, you can break through doors. It's going back to kind of the more older style. I didn't realize it was going to be that drastic. Resurgence mode, as well as new map. We're getting a complete DMZ reset, update. Lots of different stuff to discuss today. And this patch note took me almost 40 minutes to go through everything. I pulled out all the biggest things that, of course, we haven't already talked about in the previous ones, although there is going to be some repetition just for the sake of making sure we're all on the same page with it. We will be going through absolutely all of it. I already went through and highlighted everything. And again, this is just going to be for Warzone as well as DMZ. Okay, there's a bunch of multiplayer stuff. They've got ranked now for it. I'm not going to get into all of that. First thing, obviously, we've got 4 new weapons that are coming. The ISO Hemlock Assault Rifle, 5.56. 300 BLK ammo. We also have a shotgun that's going to be added to the game, which is a fast-firing one. Could this be something like the Striker, the fast-firing, quick, full-auto gun that, because shotguns can't even one-shot in the game, this could actually be a good shotgun to use? Of course, they're adding the dual Kadachis, which was an absolute fan favorite back in Warzone 1. However, this says that it's kind of designed for more longer range. It's going to have faster forward motion towards enemies, but slower strafe and sprint speed on it. Could be interesting, but of course, the one that I'm probably most excited about, as well as probably many of you guys, is a crossbow, which is kind of cool. You're even going to be able to re-pick up the ammo that you shoot from the crossbow, and it's going to be undetected by trophy systems. The way you get the crossbow, these are all from the Battle Pass, but the crossbow in particular is going to be from the challenges that they're adding to the game. They're going to have 2 of them at the beginning. They're going to be adding more during the season as it goes through. So you're not going to be able to get this right away, unfortunately. But unless they add something to the store, right? You go buy it. But they also had some information on weapons tuning. This is once you get a weapon maxed out, you can tune all the attachments and get some cool customization for it. This is kind of just like some insight into their mind. This is why I love reading all their blog posts, because we can understand where they're coming from for a lot of it. So they said, our goal for weapon tuning has always been to deliver an experience that provides players with deep customization for their favorite weapons, building a unique loadout for a precise personal playstyle. What the problem with this is that there's so many cons and like, well, what's the best build for it? What's the right ratio of positives to negatives, whatever. They're basically simplifying all of it by making it so there's going to be even more positives with even less negatives. The downsides are going to be less. The effect of attachment tuning is also going to be more significant. So yeah, the positives are going to be better, and some specifics that they gave here. So now you're going to be able to even adjust the laser attachments, which you haven't been able to do before. I'm trying to keep it a little bit high level here because there's so much detail and everything we can go into with all of it. We're about to get to the weapon tunings part of like the rebalancing of everything. High level, everything that was super powerful got brought down. All the stuff that was bad got brought back up. Mostly the battle rifles in particular, but the sniper rifles dumpstered. I did not expect them to make them any better. I was pleading for it. You guys have seen my posts. I try and do what I can, but for everybody who says people listen to me, this is just more confirmation that nobody does. Devs don't listen to me, nothing. It doesn't matter. But I'll still put it out there. I'm still gonna talk about it. But yes, snipers did get nerfed again. So let's just go through a little bit of high level. You could read through all of these. M13 did get a buff to the damage mid-range upper torso. The cast-off 7.62, which is like the RPK. I thought I was going to go switch to this one because you could build it almost the exact same as the RPK. Also got nerfed, so you can't, this is not going to be a great alternative. A couple just like side changes to a couple things for like semi-auto for some of these guns that don't really matter. But the battle rifles did get a little bit of tweaks. Specifically, you can turn these to fully automatic, and it does do a slight damage penalty when you do it, but they actually made less recoil, increased damage for the Lockman 7.62. The F-TAC as well did get some buffs. The SO14 got some buffs as well. The TAC-V, this has been the big competitor to the RPK, got some big nerfs, again, mostly to the full auto side in terms of headshot damage, so not quite as bad as a nerf for the TAC-V as you're going to see with the RPK that's coming. The X13 fully auto pistols that people are running akimbo. Akimbo got nerfed, but the regular guns got buffed. Launchers, the RPG even has more damage now for its splash damage, so I might be running some RPG-only builds for you guys. However, a little bit smaller of a radius for it. Of course, the RPK got nerfed. If you guys have been playing this game, this has been like the only gun you've been seeing people do clips of. EBR, a couple shifts, LMS, TAC-M, a little bit of buffs there. I don't think it's going to be anything super significant, but I will try it eventually. And this is a big one. Melee attacks with non-melee weapons. So like if you're using a gun and you try and hit them with the butt of it or whatever, will now require 3 hits to kill a fully armored enemy instead of just 2. So melee is going to be a little less efficient. And it's, by fact of that and changing some of the lunges to even the regular melee weapons should be a little bit more powerful. Some machine guns got a couple nerfs, which I was pretty surprised on. Vaznev, mini back, pretty minor in general, but a lot of guns got this new thing added to it, which is an added minimum damage against armor, which I think is just increasing the damage that you do to armor to shred plates easier for some guns. So like Fennec did get that, but it also got a decreased overall damage and decreased the headshot damage, so pretty big nerf in general. And of course, snipers got nerfed. Everything powerful just came down a notch, and we'll see what the degree of it is because they didn't give us any numbers with any of it. But this is the only sniper change they made, and they decreased the bullet velocity, which is one of the biggest things they could change. And this is small, so maybe it's not bad, but they also decreased the damage, movement speed, sprint out speed. So a couple other things as well as attachments reduce the ADS penalty for bipods, but who really cares about that? Vehicles. Now they're adding a new personal watercraft. This is your little ski-doo, whatever you want to call it. 2-seater as well. Fly you through the map. Vehicle turrets now also cool down faster. They also noted EV charging stations are now going to be available for the Hummer. So I don't know if these are going to be extra places that you can use, or you're not going to be able to go to the normal gas station area. You're going to have to use a specific EV charger, and they're separating that. Also, shooting windows no longer damages the vehicle itself. So if you really want to blow the vehicle up, shoot the actual vehicle itself. This I thought was kind of interesting. That said proximity chat now fades out more effectively over distance. So to me, this is saying we're going to have range-based proximity chat. However, I don't know if I want to give them that much credit. We'll see how it actually works. It might just be like if they get to the very edge of the proximity, it has like a fade rather than just a hard cutoff. We'll see, but optimistic because I feel like they should add proximity in directional-based fashion, like Tarkov does. Even Dr. Disrespect's game, Dead Drop, that we played and did some proximity comms, it just makes it so much more fun. Even if you don't know exactly where they are, you kind of know where they are, etc. Would be really cool. The raid, the first raid, they did a couple updates for. We also have co-op. These are the missions to upgrade your character to do raid. Got some bug fixes and changes to it. Here's multiplayer. They're adding ranked mode. This I'm not as inclined to read through, though. That brings us to the new map, Ashika Island. This has been the big saving grace for the game, on top of course, the increased movement speed, etc. They put together a little post with kind of their thought process behind all of it. I'm not going to read all of it, but they did mention there's a host of secrets to uncover. I'll give you one other thing that I saw in a little trailer they released. They said, throw grenades into the water. So I don't know what that means, but that was one hint they gave us for the secrets. Obviously, we saw a lot of secrets on Rebirth Island with like the telephones and being able to unlock specialist bonus and stuff like that. I don't know if they're going to go that deep, but that was one hint that we got. It is an island with everything from rooftop run and gun gameplay to cat and mouse interior brawls to underground secret passages and waterways. That'll help you traverse the space much quicker. It feels like they are still trying to keep the same essence of what Rebirth and Fortune's Keep was. So that leads me more optimistic, as well as a lot of the other changes that they have made. Now, I did a full video going through all of these different points and everything. Obviously, we'll just see gameplay soon enough, so we're not going to go through that. In DMZ specifically, players will experience foggier conditions than those in Battle Royale. They alluded to this in their last blog post, but there will be fog in the game, but more specifically, it's going to be for DMZ. Now, the actual map update, there are going to be, of course, they're adding the old Modern Warfare 2 map to it. They're even adding a new passenger train that's going to be moving counterclockwise, the opposite direction to where the cargo train is going. So there's going to be a passenger train, which I feel like is going to be awesome. It's going to give you more options to actually hop on. There's going to be like train-on-train gameplay. It's going to be nuts. I really hope this is in DMZ as well, which I imagine it is. Added a path from the cliffside. They added a couple new areas as well, which we'll see in game. Of course, the gulag has been changed. The playlists are updated. Now, specific details on the Resurgence mode. We've seen a lot of this from the previous blog posts that we have read. Respawns are going to be disabled in the 4th circle, so that's going to be the specific time when it's disabled. They are going to shorten the respawn timer with new ways, too. This was very interesting. So instead of just player kills and looting boxes, now it works for AI eliminations. Not a big deal. Headshots are now part of it, so you get bonus time off your respawns for that. On the move, just running around, getting out of a building and moving 25 meters will take time off, you rezzing your teammates. There's also Hunt, which is when you kill an enemy and you thirst them out, it gives you a ping on the rest of that enemy's squad. You guys are familiar with that if you played Resurgence in the last game. That is now called Hunt. If you kill one of them, you get time off. If you kill two of them, you get bonus time off. And if you go on a hunter spree, you get even more time off. It's like, increasing in time for saving you. You also get points for armor breaks, even. Like, they're making this as simple as possible. You do anything, dude. If you do anything, it decreases the time for your team. I don't know how fast people are going to come back, but this might be nuts. I think it's kind of cool. But, of course, in solos, you don't have your teammate. So eliminating a player will display their location when they redeploy for 10 seconds. So if you have your redeploy ready, they'll respawn in the air, and you can track where that person is. That's how it worked in the last game as well. Loadouts also, very interestingly, only have one infill on this map, and I'm assuming it's going to be like it is on Al Mazrah, where everybody shares the same loadout rather than being individual ones. But it's going to be towards the end of the first circle. There's going to be a free public event where you get it, and then there's also going to be available at buy stations to buy it, of course, at the same price as Battle Royale. But they didn't mention a fifth zone, another one that comes in. Additionally, strongholds disabled. None of them. On Ashika, Resurgence, no strongholds for it. You also can get restore honor tags and eliminations show enemies' positions. And then AI combatants only spawn during the data heist public events or during the search and seizure contract. So there's going to be noticeably less AI. From everything I've read here, there is going to be noticeably less AI on Ashika with all these, more faster style game. It's going to be mostly at the public event, which is in Zone 2, and if anybody spawns these contracts. We'll see how big this public event is in Zone 2, but for the rest of the game, they should be gone. It shouldn't be an end game problem, which I think is good. The AI coming in at the end game and ruining you is one of the worst cases. If you have to have it in the game, I think better to have it early anyways. Private matches is one of the biggest things, dude. They are adding this to the game. The biggest thing that I really hope, though, is that they have this set so you can take advantage of what they have in multiplayer, which is coded lobbies. If I can just give a code out, this is where I'm going to, this is what we did back in PUBG. We have my Discord set up, which still has 60,000 people in it. We're going to try and re-get going some of that, but also get games in. We'll do some death races, have some sniper checkpoints, sniping out the death race, do some 4 versus 144 zombies. Get everybody, it's going to be fun time, man. It's going to be, if you haven't seen any of my old content on PUBG, that's what we're going to be trying to bring back a little bit if we can get all of this working. Let's continue on. Counter UAVs also being added, which interestingly enough, were already in the game when it initially came out, but it had so many bugs and problems with it, they just pulled it from the game, never told anybody. Fun fact. They're also adding redeploy packs. This is a new tactical equipment that are going to give players a respawn, which I think is going to be like the respawn token. Rather than even going to the gulag, you die and you just immediately come back. And this is going to be now what you get from going to strongholds in the game. So on Al Mazrah, obviously still strongholds. They've taken backpacks out of the game. They've taken 3 plates out of the game. Why would you go to a stronghold? Well, it's going to be, this is the place to get the guaranteed respawn token, which I don't believe will work at the end game. They didn't specify it here, but it's never worked at the end game before. You get to just instantly come back, and it still can be found on the ground, and you can even find it at some buy stations. Now, this is the restore honor mechanism. This is going to be specifically for Ashika Island. This is going to be dropping a dog tag when you die that only you or your team can pick up. Enemies kill you, they're not going to be able to pick up these dog tags. What happens is if your teammate picks it up, they get a cash bonus, as well as a UAV ping, that one ping for anybody, not just for the team that killed you or whatever, for anybody that's in your proximity. If you pick your own tag up, it's a 50-meter ping, and it gives you 1,000 cash. So it gives you even more. You still get the UAV ping, but that's not it. It's not just pinging players. It also pings loot boxes. So back in Warzone 1, at the end of it in Caldera, they added these resupply boxes, as well as they added the loot box UAV, so you could see where all the... oh, here's an orange chest over here. Here's a pink box. I can get my loadout. They don't have that here yet. Maybe that'll come in the future. But anyways, it's going to help you reset on top of everything else that's now speeding up And the search and seizure, which we mentioned briefly, I'll just mention briefly here. It's a stolen vehicle contract that you need to go kill an AI, take his key, get in the car, drive it to a specific location while being chased by AI. This is the new contract that's in the game if you want to try and do that. The public event that we were talking about, data heist, this is going to be in Zone 2. Towers go up, you capture them like intel missions, you capture them, and then you get a UAV. If you get 2 of them, 3 of them, you get bonus rewards for doing that, which could be even an advanced UAV. There's also, of course, redeploy drones. We saw all this in the previous blog posts. These are going to move in as the zone is closing, so they're going to move. You can even blow them up. New ones will automatically respawn. You can't buy these back. There's a new AI called the Rusher. This is going to be melee. If you keep him, too far away and kite him, he will shoot you with a pistol, but they are low health, so try and focus these guys first because they will kill you very quickly. We also have an upgrade to the cash economy. They're increasing the amount of cash in the game, decreasing the amount of cash you get from contracts. Players are now going to drop more cash upon elimination, but you're also going to retain more cash when you redeploy. You're also going to get more cash from the gulag. So I think they're just overall, from me reading all of this, they're going to make cash easier to find. Even in cash registers, which are like the guaranteed cash spot, sometimes you'd only find 100, whatever. There's a minimum amount of 500. On the ground, there's a minimum amount of 500. They even said before they weren't going to have cash in the regular boxes. That's now dropping $500, $800 guaranteed. I mentioned there's no plates. They're also making custom perk packages. One other note on the looting, too, I should mention here, is all of the items are now just going to be dumped onto the ground. It's no longer going to be... you open a duffel bag and you have to go into a menu. It just all comes out. It's all going to be on the ground, specifically for Battle Royale. That's not for DMZ. This was interesting, too. AI combatants in the strongholds for the black sites are going to evacuate during the 3 final circles. So I don't know if that means they're going to run out into the open and try and, now be a problem versus them being inside of a stronghold or what, but note that. They also said for the nuke contract, you get 5 wins in a row, get the nuke. They've adjusted the difficulty. They didn't say if it's made harder or easier. I would imagine they're making it easier, but I don't know. And then there's also going to be a new blueprint reward for it, and the Season 1 FTAC Brass Tracks reward has been vaulted. They're also adding spawn protection, which I was very surprised by because it did not specify that this was for the new map only. This is for the whole game. Protects the players when they're between 64 to 19 meters off the ground. So shooting people at the sky, not worth it. Plating improvements. Global plating animation speed up increased by approximately 25%. So you are going to plate faster. On top of that, movement speed increased while plating. So you're just in general going to walk faster while you're plating, and it's going to take less time. And players can now sprint while plating, dude. This has been one of the biggest changes because before you'd go to the corner of a building, look both ways. As soon as somebody starts pushing from this way, you start sprinting, you bust through a door, which is also the other part of this, but it allowed you to kind of kite them away. In other words, you're running away at the same pace that they're chasing you, and they cannot catch up to you, and they try and shoot you. It takes a long time to ADS. They can't get you. You can start to make better plays. Okay, rather than just go sitting in the corner and trying to kill him faster than me when he already cracked me, I got no chance of... Now there's going to be a little bit more of a skill gap. There's going to be a little bit more opportunity to fight on it. The other thing they noted here is ping visibility. Each squad mate will now have a unique color highlighting their name and pings. How has this not been a thing before? This has been pissing me off since the first time. I really hope it's just the same as what it was in the last game because it was so much easier to see, but we'll see. DMZ. We've already read through a lot of the details for this. They have a new weapons case, a new boss. They're having a new faction called the Crown, which is only going to be for Modern Warfare 2 owners. You do have to buy that game to get this faction, which will give you more challenges to do, more cosmetic rewards, etc. All your faction mission is being completely reset. Of course, we're keeping the insured slot. I got all 3 in the first season. And missions are being refreshed, but this is the coolest thing, I think. Key stashes can now hold items for missions so players can transport them across exclusion zones to complete objectives. In other words, you can now use your keys to help you complete some of your missions. And on top of that, you can do high-value targets, are going to drop more keys now. I think keys are going to be more important because right now they've been almost useless. But let's say you're hunting for that GPU. Maybe you can find a keyed room with computers in it. That might have a significant increased chance to get the GPU from it. That's how I kind of understand it. And I think that is a great move if that is the case because it makes those actually have way more value. They adjusted a lot of different small things, but a lot of it we already talked about, and a lot of this is the same exact thing that we already talked about for Battle Royale. So that is that. There is also going to be a season reload coming. And ladies and gentlemen, here it is. I know a lot of you guys have talked to me about it. Plunder returns to Warzone. Season 3, it is coming back. I love to use this mode as just a practice mode, see how the ranges of the snipers worked, how much drop there was needed on the gun. I never really played the game mode as it was intended outside of one charity tournament where we took first place and are the #1 competitive Plunder players in the world. However, I know a lot of you guys do like that mode. It's a little more casual, and it even just gives you something to do when you're waiting for your teammates to get on if you don't have the multiplayer. So I think this is a great move. You can just go kill, practice, warm up a little bit before, you go into DMZ because you can't set aside loadout. You can't do some of the things that I would love to see implemented into DMZ or even the Battle Royale. There's some other things, of course. Maybe the new map has it, but so much stuff, dude. I try to keep this as concise as I possibly could. Warzone Ranked 2? Wait, what? I didn't see that. What? They're also adding Warzone Ranked. I didn't even see this. I stopped at the Plunder and I was like, all right, that's everything. They're adding Warzone Ranked as well. Holy shit, dude. Hit the like button. Double check you're subscribed here. I'm going to be playing this all day, all week. We're going to be doing some private matches. Hopefully, we're going to be doing them weekly. If this ends up working and being cool, we can do customs. We get a cool community people that want to do it. But there it is. Thanks so much for watching. Stumpmat64. Over and out.